wallpaper. Silk from France, or maybe Fresno, but it looks French. Silk wallpaper in a beach apartment, Shauna asked, her eyebrow rising to a dangerous level. Larry, the humidity would turn it into a moldy shroud in 3 days. Details, details, Larry waved her off. The point is, I need a place to store it for a week. Just a few boxes. No, Jack and Jana said in unison. Chapter 8, The Culinary Duel. A few days later, Jack's culinary school ego took a direct hit. He had been assigned a mystery basket challenge. Create a 5-star meal using only canned tuna, pimento peppers, and a box of instant mashed potatoes. It's an insult to the art, Jack declared, pacing the kitchen like a caged tiger. Escoffier is rolling in his grave. He's doing rotisserie spins. I think it sounds fun, Chrissy said, popping a pimento into her mouth. Like a picnic in a can. It's not a picnic, Chrissy. It's my future, Jack snapped. He began to frantically whisk the potatoes, his movements becoming more erratic as the pressure mounted. Shauna watched him with a mixture of pity and amusement. Jack, just breathe. If you can make us eat your experimental casseroles every night and survive, you can handle a mystery basket. The duel took place that evening, with Shauna and Chrissy serving as the reluctant judges. Jack had transformed the ingredients into a tuna mousse with a pimento reduction and potato palms. It looks gray, Chrissy noted, poking the mousse with a fork. It's not gray, it's pearl, Jack corrected, his eyes wide with desperate pride. They took a bite. The silence that followed was heavy. It's very experimental, Jeanne managed, reaching for a large glass of water. It tastes like the ocean, Chrissy added, her face turning a slight shade of green. The deep, dark part of the ocean where things go to hide. Jack's shoulders slumped. I knew it. I'm a failure. I'll be flipping burgers at the pier for the rest of my life. Just as he was about to toss the pearl mousse into the trash, Stanley Roper walked in. He looked tired, his shoulders sagging under the weight of a particularly long day of peeping and complaining. I smell fish, Stanley grunted. Is there any left? Jack handed him a plate with a trembling hand. Stanley took a massive bite, chewed slowly, and then swallowed. Not bad, Stanley said, wipes his mouth with his sleeve. Tastes better than that French stuff Helen tried to make last month. At least this didn't give me the shakes. You got any more? Jack stared at him, a slow smile spreading across his face. Escoffier can rest easy. I've found my audience. Chapter 9, The Friday Night Jitters. Friday nights at the apartment were usually a flurry of activity. Jana was preparing for a date with a sensitive poet she'd met at the flower shop. Chrissy was trying to find two matching shoes, and Jack was attempting to iron his only good shirt with a pot of boiling water because the iron had died. I don't know why I'm so nervous, Jana said, applying a layer of electric coral lipstick. He's just a poet. He wears a lot of corduroy. How dangerous can he be? Poets are the worst, Jack warned, carefully pressing the pot onto his sleeve. They use words to hide the fact that they don't have a car, and they always want to share their soul instead of sharing the check. You're just jealous because no one wants to share their soul with you, Chrissy teased, finally finding a platform shoe under the couch. My soul is a private reserve, Jack retorted. Limited vintage. The doorbell rang, and in walked the poet, a man who looked like he'd been dragged through a library backwards. He spoke in whispers and smelled of patchouli. The moon is a pale fingernail tonight, the poet sighed, staring at Johnny. It's a waxing gibbous. Stanley Roper's voice boomed from the hallway. He was standing there, arms crossed, looking suspicious. And keep your voice up, son. I can't hear a word of that nonsense you're whispering. The poet blinked, startled. The vibrations, they are harsh here. I'll show you harsh vibrations if you don't have her back by 11, Stanley grumbled. As they left, Jack and Chrissy collapsed onto the newly and poorly repaired couch. The springs groaned in protest, but it held. You think they'll have a good time? Chrissy asked. As long as she doesn't mind eating vibrations for dinner, Jack said, reaching for the remote. Chapter 10, The morning after tax. The morning light through the living room blinds was unforgiving, revealing every speck of dust on the fake wood surfaces. Shauna walked in looking remarkably well rested, or at least better rested than Jack, who had spent the night dreaming of giant upholstery tacks. So, Chrissy asked, leaning over the counter with a mug of coffee, "How was the pale fingernail?" Shauna sighed,